on the streets and joy.
Okay.
Why are you worrying about this hyena when there's a lion that's coming to destroy you? And this lion has been doing this for centuries. Are you okay with what the British have been doing in Africa? Are you okay with what the French have been doing in Africa? But we are so programmed, our colonized mind say, leave them alone. We don't even see what they're doing. This is my brother with $500 billion that they don't want you to even see. They don't want you to even talk about him. You can't talk about what China is doing in Africa without talking about what the other Western powers are doing and have been doing in Africa for centuries. Are you accepting that? If we're going to talk about an issue, we need to deal with the issue from beginning to end. We want to talk about countries that are exploiting Africa. Let's talk about all of them. You want to talk about corruption in Africa? Don't let me focus on a Nigerian who charged you 100 naira so you can get your visa. So I can ignore France. I can ignore, if you fly low over the DRC, you're going to find planes landing on tarmacs that are going anywhere and taking right off. They're coming in, stealing minerals from Africa and going right out of Africa. Who's talking about them? Let's talk about them too. The reality is, if Africa, all of Africa, was to cease to be corrupt today, there would still be corruption in Africa. Dollar-wise, the bulk of the corruption coming into Africa is from outside. Who is going to talk about those multinationals? I look at DRC, I feel sorry for whoever is going to be the next president of DRC. The multinationals that are exploiting the DRC because of the instability in the country, they are not going to want to see stability. An unstable Africa is an Africa that can be exploited, and they have been doing this for centuries. So I ask those who talk about, well, what about, so what are you going to do? We're talking about strategizing corruption in Africa. I'm saying you're missing something. It's like being in a room with the monkeys and the squirrels, which are corruption in Africa, and completely ignoring the 10,000-pound gorilla in the middle of the room. I am saying, while we are talking about the corruption that are the monkeys and the squirrels in the room, let's not forget the 10,000-pound gorilla. Let's start with the 10,000-pound gorilla in the room in the form of the multinationals from the West. The colonial masters whose roots are so entrenched in Africa that is one of the biggest problems Africa has today. And until we uproot them from the roots, Africa's progress is not guaranteed. And they who set out to set us up the way we are will forever be winning. To them, even today, as I speak, I say, mission accomplished. So when are we, black people, going to stand up and say, enough is enough, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired? It starts by you realizing that you're suffering from the legacy of colonialism, you're suffering from the legacy of slavery. You see, a colonized African mind is the worst thing for Africa. It's absolutely dangerous. You see, when you go to the negotiating table representing Africa, your mind must be in the right place. You must see your African issues with 2020 vision. You must understand what is really going on and refuse to fight for crumbs under the table, because you know better. And that means you and I, need to have a conversation with the image in the mirror. That is where the healing begins. And until the gutter that is in here is cleaned up, Africa is going nowhere. When you go to the negotiating table on behalf of Africa with a mind that's in the gutter, guess what? Garbage in, garbage out. So my message to all of you is, as we talk about peace and security, we must understand, how did we get here? It is only and only when we understand how we got here can we take our Africa from this losing lane to the right lane where Africa can peacefully and proudly take her right place on the world stage.